Okay, and we're going to skip quite a few here. And we're going to do problem 71. So 71 says, solve each problem. You may wish to review quadratic equations from algebra. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 1 meter more than the longer length. Actually, let's go back. Not skip so many. Let's do 53. So we really haven't done any Pythagorean theorem problems yet. So 53 says there are various formulas that would generate Pythagorean triples. For example, if we choose the positive integers r and s, then the set of equations generates a Pythagorean triple. Use the value of r and s given in each exercise to generate a Pythagorean triple using this method. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about this before. Okay, so r is equal to 4, s is equal to 3. So we just use the equation. So we have a is equal to r squared minus s squared. So that's 4 squared minus 3 squared, which is 16 minus 9, which is 7. B is equal to 2rs. 2 times r, which is 4, times 3, which is s, and it's 12, so it's 24. And c is equal to r squared plus s squared. R is 4, s is 3, so you get 16 plus 9 is 25. So these are Pythagorean triples. What that means is that they're even integer numbers, and if we were to draw a right triangle, which is what is required for the Pythagorean theorem to apply, you get something like that. And so this is 7, this is 24, and this is 25. And so the Pythagorean theorem would say 25 squared is equal to 24 squared plus 7 squared. So let's plug the numbers in and see what happens. So 25 squared is 625. 24 squared is 576 plus 49, which is 7 squared. So we add 576 and 49, and we get 625. So it's true. Actually, let's go back and do one from the previous group. We're going to take problem number 40, well, we'll pick 42 because that would result in this triangle. So let's pick 43. So what we've done is, because they're right triangles, we know that the sum of the squares of the sides is equal to the square of the hypotenuse. In problem 3, we have that b is equal to 83. We have c is equal to 85. The question is, what is a? Well, this is the hypotenuse. And this is a side. And this is a side. So if I wanted to draw this out, again, it probably is not to scale, but it is a very kind of narrow looking little guy. So if we measured those, and this one was 83, this is 85, this is the right triangle, so these are the corresponding sides. So A is this, B is equal to that, C is equal to that. So the question is, what is A? Well, we know that A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So A squared is equal to 85 squared minus this. So you have 85 squared minus 83 squared is equal to 336. And then you use your square root. So A is equal to square root of 336. And so what I get is, oh, I've been doing the wrong, this is 84, not 83. Wrong answer. That's why I thought, oh, this does it wrong, because I didn't get what I was thinking I would get. Nice even number. So this is 84. Did I write that down wrong? Yeah, I guess I wrote it down wrong from the beginning. It should be 85, 84. Sorry. Okay, so now let's try again. 84 squared. 85 squared minus 84 squared. Square root is 13. So what I got here was 169. Square root of 169 is 13. So that would be A. Okay. So let's do so 50, 43, 53. Let's do one for this next section. We'll do 65. Okay, so there's another formula. It's 2n, n squared minus 1, n squared plus 1. And you just pick different values of n. So 65 is, we choose n is equal to 2. So 2n would be equal to 4. N squared minus 1 would be equal to 4 minus 1, which is 3. And n squared plus 1 is going to be 4 plus 1, which is equal to 5. And so we have 3, 4, 5. That's our 3, 4, 5 triangle. Okay, we're back to my original list, 71. If the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 1 meter more than the longer leg, and the shorter leg is 7 meters, find the length of the longer leg. So what we do is draw a triangle. Make sure we, right, of course, first we do is we draw a right triangle. So we have one leg longer than the other. So now we'll read it again. If the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 1 meter more than the longer leg, so let's say this is the longer leg. So this is x plus 1. And the shorter leg is 7 meters. What is the length of the longer leg, which is x? So we need to solve for x. So what we do is we take x squared plus 7 squared is equal to x plus 1 squared, quantity squared. So you get x squared plus 49 is equal to, we use FOIL to multiply that out. So here's a little FOIL review. So you do first, inner, outer, last. So first would give us x times x, which is x times x, which is x squared. We have plus 1 times x, which is x, inner. Outer is 1 times x. And then last is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so you can see the x's cancel out because there's 1 on each side, so we can subtract it. So we end up with 49 is equal to 2x plus 1. Subtract 1 from both sides. That's because I have 1 here. I'm going to get rid of that. So I have 48 is equal to 2x. 2x is equal to 48. X is equal to 48 divided by 2, which is 24. So the answer is 24. 74. The length of a rectangle is 2 inches less than the width, twice the width. Diagonal is 5 inches. Find the length and width of the rectangle. Okay, so let's draw a rectangle first. Okay, so there's a rectangle. Let's put a diagonal in there. So we talk about a diagonal. Diagonal goes from this corner to that corner, which creates 2 triangles, which is very convenient. So the length of the rectangle is 2 inches less than twice the width. So let's say this is the width. So the length is equal to 2w minus 2. twice the width minus less 2. The diagonal is 5. So what we can do is we can use the Pythagorean theorem to relate this length to that length. Solve for W. Once we have W, we can plug it in, get the length and the width, and then we can multiply them together. Actually, we don't need to find the area. Just find the length and the width, so that's the idea. So the Pythagorean theorem would say 2W minus 2 squared, which is one leg, plus W, which is the other leg, has to equal the hypotenuse squared. Again, using FOIL, 2W minus 2 times 2W minus 2, that's what this squared means. It means you're multiplying this by itself. You would get 4W squared, 2W times 2W is 4W squared, minus 2 times 2W gives you negative 4W. You get that both in the inner and the outer. And then you have negative 2 times negative 2, which would be positive 4. So we combine like terms, we get negative 4W squared minus 8W plus 4. So let's write that in. So for this one, we can go ahead and substitute 4W squared minus 8W plus 4, okay, that's from there, plus W squared is equal to 25. Okay, now combine like terms. We have 4W squared and 1W squared, so that gives us 5W squared minus 8W plus 4 is equal to 25. So we're going to create a quadratic equation by subtracting 25 from both sides. So we'll get 5W squared minus 8W minus or plus minus 21 minus 21 equals 0. Okay. Let me go check. Let me just think about this. Make sure I'm doing this right. Like the rectangle is 2 inches less than twice the width. The diagonal is 5 inches. Okay. It's supposed to work out. I don't see anything I did wrong. W squared minus 8W plus 4. Okay. So what we do is use the quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And that's what the value in this case would be for w. So let's plug in the numbers, see what we get. Minus a negative 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c, all divided by 2 times a. Okay, so let's see what we get. In the radical, we get 8 squared, which is 64. Negative 8 squared, which is positive 64. And we add 4 times minus 4. I think I got a number wrong. It should be, well, this is 5. So 4 times 5 times 21. And I get 484. So I get negative times a negative is a positive, so we get 8 plus or minus the square root of 484 divided by 10. And the square root of 484 is 22, so we get 8 plus or minus 22 divided by 10. So let's do both cases. We have 8 plus 22 divided by 10, which is 30, divided by 10, which is 3. And we get 8 minus 22 divided by 10, which is negative 14 divided by 10. But this is negative. We can't have a negative width, so we don't include that. So that's not the answer. So if we go back up here, we know that W is equal to, we just calculated W is 3. L is 2 times W minus, so this is 2 times 3 minus 2, which is 4. So we get a 3, 4, 5 triangle. And so that's the answer. Width is 3, length is 4. It looked like first things were kind of crazy, but it turned out when we did the quadratic formula, we ended up with a nice even number here, and then this one, as I said, is a negative result, so we don't even have to worry about that. It's not a valid solution. Okay, number 77. Squaring off the floor under construction. Imagine that you are carving building the floor of a rectangular room. What must be the diagonal of the room you can measure if your floor is to be squared off properly, given dimensions in the exercise? Okay. So we're going to draw a rectangle. So that's our floor. And the question is, so the way it works is how you would do this. If you didn't have if you wouldn't be pulling out your protractor. So we would do it by distances. So you would lay out this distance, and then you would measure this distance. So you could measure it approximately, use a piece of chalk and draw like an arc here. That would be the correct size. This would be 12, and this one would be 15. And then, so you can measure these off, and then the diagonal, which goes from here to here, then you'd have one, if you have the correct length, then you would take this thing, and then you could draw a circle there, and the intersection of those two circles would be the point, and that would result in this being a right angle from here to here. So that's the whole concept. So the question is, what is x? Well, it's easy because you use the Pythagorean theorem. So we know 15 squared plus 12 squared is equal to x squared. So what do we get? We get 15 squared plus 12 squared. It's 369. So x is equal to the square root of 369, which is 369 to the 0.5 power is 19.209. Okay, so that's how many feet. So the question is, what is 0.029 in terms of inches? So what we would do is we take 0.209 feet and you'd multiply it by 12. So 12 inches per foot. So 0.209 times 12 is 2.508. So you have 19 feet, 2.5 inches. The book actually says 19 feet, 3 inches. So they rounded up. But to be more accurate, 19 feet, 2.5 inches. Okay, I was just doing a little quick calculation. And then finally, 80. So the same kind of deal. So all you have to do is do 20 squared plus 32 squared is equal to x squared. So 20 squared is 400 plus 32 squared is something else. And you add those two together and you get to 1424. Take the square root of both sides. We end up at 37.736. So that's the number of feet. So again, to change it to inches, you'd have 37 feet, and then you'd take 0.736 times 12, 12 inches per foot. So subtract 37 from that, multiply by 12, 8.83, so we can round off to 9 inches. So it would be 37 point. So this is equal to 8.83 inches. So we'll make it 9 inches. 37 feet, 9 inches.